And now, my lovely co host for the evening, Ghislaine.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Scintillating Showcase and Open Mic Night, a live and virtual performance series produced in conjunction with Intervision Entertainment and myaloha.tv. The word mondegreen is defined as a misheard word or phrase that makes sense in your head, but is in fact incorrect. Coined in November 1954 Harper's Bazaar piece by Sylvia Wright, recalling her own childhood mishearing of a book her mother would read to her called Relics of Ancient Verse. Sylvia's favorite poem from 1795, or this book, went like this: Ye Highland and ye Lowlands, oh, where have ye been? They have slain the Earl of Moray and laid him on the green. She, however, heard the last line as, and Lady Mondegreen. So, we now have this moniker, this use of this word, and it is mostly when acoustic information that's received and the interpretation of your brain comes up with simply, they just don't match up. And it's not exactly clear why this happens. We just know that it does. One instance we see this happen a lot is song lyrics, which makes sense because, it's basically trying to play the telephone game, but with cymbals and glockenspiels and all sorts of other instruments. Not that everyone's using a glockenspiel, but everyone should. Which brings me to this week's theme. Excuse Me While I Kiss the Sky, a famous mondegreen from Jimi Hendrix' hit, Purple Haze. Our artists have been challenged to perform pieces related to parodies, misheard lyrics, and misunderstood prose. And as usual, their creative interpretations of today's theme will not disappoint. I personally confuse lyrics all of the time, and frankly, I blame growing up with 80s bands such as Duran Duran, where the lyrics were often odd and made no sense on purpose. In fact, I'm still trying to figure out what "my head is full of chopstick, I don't like it" means. Some misheard lyrics are so good that they inspired full-length parodies such as Eat It or Like a Surgeon, although my personal favorite from Weird Al is Word Crimes, because it takes a song whose lyrics are most disturbing when you figure out what they are and makes them deliciously charming. I think there needs to be a 4-chord song with only misheard lyrics. And for your listening pleasure, I've gotten one started. All the lonely Starbucks lovers, there's nothing that 100 men or Mars could ever do. I guess it rains down in Africa. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. Give me the Beach Boys and free my soul. If it ain't paradise, then put up a parking lot. There's a bathroom on the right. Then I saw her face. Now I'm gonna leave her. My head is full of chopstick, I don't like it. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. Okay, Axis of Awesome, you've been challenged to finish Lady Mondegreen, and if you feel so inclined, contact me to lay some licks on that track. I swear I can sing better than we just heard, because shameless plugs should not be misunderstood. And on that note, please welcome our fabulous minstrel MC, Miss Danielle May. We can't hear you, darling.
Hello. Hello, everybody. So, behind me are some onion strings. Why are there onion strings behind me, you might ask? Well, my answer to this week's question, because we forgot to ask me last week, so you don't know about my favorite fireside memory. But so I'm gonna answer the question right now, and the question is, what is your favorite parody song or Mondegreen? And my favorite Mondegreen is in the song I'm about to sing for you, which is Adelida by George Strait. When it first came out, I wasn't even 100% certain that her name was Adelida. It could have been Annalina or whatever. Um, And half of the chorus, I never knew the lyrics to. I thought it was just a bunch of boogie woogie sweet dividers and stuff, but I was pretty certain that one of the lines in the chorus was "Your every onion string," and I was very certain about that for a very long time. So I present to you Adelida. It would help if I was on the music page. All right, here we go. Adelida, pretty little Cajun queen, sweet Dixie fly, the belle of the bayou, you're every young man's dream. Adelida, I'd walk through a hurricane to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. I'd swim the poncho train. Whoa, no, here you're coming down the road with your cotton dress a swishing. You're getting some attention from all the boys in Thibodeau. Oh my, you're really filling up their eyes, smiling and a winking. I know what they're thinking, but I'm the only one who loves you so. Adelida, pretty little Cajun queen, sweet Dixie fire, the belle of the bayou, you're every young man's dream. Adelida, I'd walk through a hurricane to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. I'd swim the poncho train. Oh no, the hottest little dish I know. I know you can tell it, you're making me so jealous from my head down to my toes. Oh me, you can make a redneck green. The way that you're looking, you got me a cooking, and I ain't talking about etouffee. Adelida, pretty little Cajun queen, sweet Dixie fly, the belle of the bayou, you're every young man's dream. Adelida, I'd walk through a hurricane to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. I'd swim the poncho train. Adelida, pretty little Cajun queen, sweetest advisor, pyramid advisor, you're every onion string. Adelida, I walk through a hurricane to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. I swim the poncho train to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. I swim the poncho train to stand beside you, sweet Adelida. To stand beside you, sweet Adelida. Just to stand beside my sweet Adelida. I swim the poncho train. So yeah,
Oh, that was lovely.
onion strings.
Well, look who I brought to talk to you, darling.
What'd you bring to talk to me? Oh, it's Angus. Is it Angus?
It is Angus.
It is Angus. Sorry, I can't see things sometimes. But here we are. Hello, Angus.
Good day.
So what is your favorite parody song or misheard lyric or something like that?
I almost said children's responses to patriotic songs like the Star Spangled Banner, but I was hiking with a gentleman I knew back in 2001, and we got on the topic of mares eat oats and does eat dotes and little lambs eat ivy. A kid'll eat ivy too, wouldn't you? And he knew the song just of nonsense syllables. Mares eat oats and does eat dotes and little lamb eat ivy. A diddly nut to do, wouldn't you? And this is a full-grown gentleman, probably in his early 50s. Oh, well, that's
Wow.
the answer to your question.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
Now,
That's Danielle's taking it in face. What do you have for us today, Angus?
well, Ghislaine knows that I usually come up with two, and I guess I'll go with the song I have, which fortunately is misunderstood. Bros and Butters is probably Robert Burns' most misunderstood lyrics. It was in my repertoire 2 decades ago, and I thought it was mildly naughty. But a performer friend of mine made the comment that he never performed Robert Burns' material unless he fully understood what all the words meant. And I've had now a 3-decade study of Scots, and my jaw dropped wide open. Because every single phrase is an innuendo towards a sexual body part, a sexual act, or bodily fluids. The song that I shocked Sadie at a couple weeks ago pales compared to this song if you knew what it meant. And I am not going to tell you what it meant because I don't think your PG audience would want to know. Now, I'm going to cheat and have the words in front of me in just case I screw up. But this is how the song goes. Jenny was up in the loft, Jockey would fain have been at her. There came a wind out of the west and made all the windows to clatter. Oh, give my love bros, bros, give my love bros and butter. Oh, give my love bros, bros. Yes, Ghislaine, he wanted his butter. A dower's a dainty dish, a goose is hollow within, a sight to make you blush, but all the fun's to fit. Oh, give my love bros, bros, give my love bros and butter. Oh, give my love bros, bros. Yes, Ghislaine, he wanted his supper. My daddy sent me to a hill to pull my money some heather and drive it in your fill. Your welcome day the leather. Oh, give my bros, bros, give my bros and butter. Oh, give my bros, bros. Just clean. You wanted the supper. The dower's a dip, a mouse is a merry with geese. The murderer wants to eat. And oh, for the touch of the thing I had in my knee yesterday. Oh, give my bros, bros, give my bros and butter. Oh, give my bros, bros. Just clean. You wanted the supper. The lark she loved, the grass, the hen she loved, the stubble, and hay for the gardener lad to cull you wow with his nibble.
Oh, that's lovely, Angus. I'm going to pretend I didn't understand any of that. Oh, it's delightful. All right, well, thank you. You're going to be back with a story, yes?
If you'll let me.
Of course we will. All right, we'll see you in a few, Angus. All right, well, our next performer is no stranger to me. In fact, I find him very sexy. If you don't know what that word means, it's because I'm trying to say things you don't understand. Anyway, the lovely, the incomparable, the handsome Ryan Phillips. Hello, you want to take that off mute? There you are. Hello.
Oh, I am totally off mute now. How are you on this beautiful, beautiful day?
I am doing quite well. Now, I have to ask, and I went out of my way not to tell you what mine is, just because I'm curious what yours is. What is your favorite either parody or misheard lyrics?
Reefer Madness, the musical, is by far my favorite parody. And if you've seen it, it is hilarious. And if you haven't, you got to see it. It is hilarious.
That is a parody show in itself. Like, the whole show is a parody of a film. So I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which itself was basically a parody of The Truth. So it's like this parody of a parody, and it like goes down the rabbit hole. And just your minds just explode.
Well, and then there's that song, Mary Jane, but it starts out with how Mary Lane and Mary Jane are still, it's very funny. So I feel like that qualifies in here. Well, I believe you have some mysteries of the mind to pursue. Is that correct? All right, so you're going to do some magic for us, yeah? Or mental?
Mentalism, it's Mentalism is the stage. It's using bits of psychology and just some observation, like deductions, to provide an illusion, very similar to any other magic. Like so I'm using cards today just because more to form an object, and it really doesn't matter how this works. Actually, I'm going to look away. Can you just take a look at that and
Yeah,
memorize that card?
I got it.
Focus it in your mind. All right, you got it. You got a hold of that card right there. You got it memorized, right?
Yeah, I'm getting mental right now.
You're getting mental right now. Okay. Now I'm going to, and I need to see your picture more than you need to see me at this point, because I really need to focus on what you're thinking. I need you to kind of just kind of look at the deck, right? Look at the, I know that's not your card, but I need you to visualize your card on top of this, right? I need you to focus right there. And could you bring your screen up in a side by side so I can
You
see
are
it?
on a side by side, sweetheart.
Oh, really? It's not showing up on my computer. That's weird. Anyway,
Well, yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
like I said, focus right there. All right. All right.
Well, let's try it this way. Hold on. We'll do this. Now, can you see me?
Now I can see you again. Okay, like I said, focus on that. Imagine your card is that card. Just project it on top of that, right? And I'm going to watch you, and then I'm going to try and figure out what that card is. Right now, I'm getting like a point. I'm getting points. Something pointy, which means it's got to either be a diamond or a spade. Is that close?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Again, I want you to focus on that thing. I really need you to focus and put this picture in your head. Is it a face card?
No.
Oh, I don't answer my
you
questions.
You asked a question. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but don't answer the questions out loud.
Oh.
Okay. Is it high or low? Kind of medium. It's a little bit hazy. I need you to look right there, and I know this isn't your card. I need you to look right there and focus on that card, and just try and project an image of that card on it, like almost like you're putting a TV screen right here. It's a medium card. It is a spade. It is a spade. So, oh my God, it is a 7 of spades, is it not?
It is.
Well, that's what a coincidence that popped to the surface.
Yeah. You mentally just totally got me.
Yeah, and I do apologize for dropping my hands out of screen. It's a lot more fun when you're actually face and you can see I'm not really doing anything with the cards. And on that line, I have another little mentalist trick.
That'll be in a little bit.
Okay.
So,
and see, that's when the mind reading failed, and that's how you know it's just an illusion.
Well, thank you, dear. You know, hello, Danielle. I don't know any bad jokes. Do you know any bad dad jokes? You have to turn your... Actually, I do know one. Can you go off of mute, love?
I have a pretty bad knock-knock joke.
Bring it.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Dwayne.
Wayne who?
Dwayne the tub. I'm drowning.
Oh, he's so good. It's so bad he's so good. Well, would you like to introduce our next segment?
I sure would. Let's see. What is our next person?
Oh, whoops. I went way ahead. Okay, there we go. Our next person isn't here, but our next person after that is. Boom.
Oh. Is it Matt?
It is Matt. I'm going to jump off of here and add him right here. All right.
Hello, Matt.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. So I got a big old plate of onion strings behind me. So tell me, what is your favorite parody or misheard lyric?
Anything sung by Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
pretty much. Almost
Yeah.
every popular film I know through him, and oftentimes I wind up preferring his version over the others. He's a great reminder of how how pretentious pop art can actually be, and no matter how high art you think your work is, someone's always going to find a way to parody it.
Yeah. For sure. So what do you have planned for us tonight?
I have a rough draft. I have a rough draft ballad that's still in develop, but if you can endure, I can give you I'll give you my rough draft segment that hopefully in the future will be presented in its most completed form.
All right. Take it away.
I call it the Ballad of the Norris. All right, turn the page. Again, another page. Sorry. Okay. They say when the boogeyman goes to sleep at night, he always checks his closet for Chuck Norris. For only Chuck Norris can kill your imaginary friend while having a staring contest with the sun and win. Who is this Chuck Norris? Where did he come from? Some say he was born in a hospital. Others say he was born in a cabin in the wood, which they say he built with his own bare hands. They say on the day of his birth was the same day the C-section was born, when Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked his way out of his mother's womb while strangling a bear with his umbilical cord. It is believed that that same bear is laying out as a rug in his house, but it is not dead. It's just afraid to move. Of course, others say he wasn't even born at all. He just, willed himself into existence. On his first birthday, he blew his candle out by blinking. As a boy, Chuck Norris could play frisbee by himself. And during Christmas times, he would often climb Mount Everest within 15 minutes. During the 14 minutes, he'd build a snowman on the way up. And he never wet his bed, not at all. The bed wet himself out of fear. During his high school graduation math test, Chuck Norris put down violence as every answer to the question. And he got an A+ because of it. And he got an A+ on the test. For Chuck Norris solves all his problems with violence. For he is the only person that can punch a Cyclops between the eye. For all existence is owed due to Chuck Norris, even the colors you see before you. For Chuck Norris invented every color there is known to man, except for pink. Tom Cruise invented pink. It has been said that giraffes were created when Chuck Norris uppercutted a horse. For there is no theory of evolution, only species that Chuck Norris allows to live. For when the dinosaurs once crossed with Chuck Norris, it happened only once. And what was going on through the mind of Chuck Norris victims? His shoe. And that concludes part 1 of the Ballad of the Norris.
Oh my goodness.
It's a work in progress.
Now, are you going to be adding a part 2 tonight, or
yeah? And I might even revise part 1. It's not
tonight
yet. Oh, not
no.
tonight. Just
No. Okay.
I meant in the future.
Okay, so maybe in a week or 2 we get to hear the other half, eh?
Yeah, or even an improved first half.
Oh, it's all lovely. Don't knock yourself, man. Only knock yourself when you're doing comedy. Okay. Then it's approved for some reason. Okay. And on that note, I'm poop. Okay, so let me add. Hello.
It's time for one of my favorite segments now. Ghislaine, do you have a furry friend who wants to share a poem with the class?
I do. And his name is Vash. Okay. Let's get the volume up at head this time. And
now thou art gone, though not gone far. It seems The worlds between us. Shine here again, thou wandering star. Earth's planet and return with Venus. At times thou broughtest me thy light, when restless sleep had gone away. At other times, more blessed night stole over and prolonged thy stay.
Aww.
Isn't he the sweetest?
He is so sweet. He is sweet.
Oh, he's very
You
handsome.
know all about it. Speaking of sweet, do you want to see your pet featured on Pet Poetry? Send videos to Ryan at myaloha.tv. And if you have a poem to share, you can send submissions to Ghislaine at myaloha.tv. Both of those are going to be in the chat.
In fact, we've updated things and made them easier, Danielle. Did you know now you can submit to submissions at myaloha.tv?
Oh, well, it doesn't say that right in front of me.
I know, so I thought I would just use that as a promo to the promo.
Yes. I'm working from basically a teleprompter. So, next up, I would like to welcome back to the stage one of my favorite performers from not here, Mr. Angus.
Angus!
Hello.
Hello, Angus. So what do you have for us now?
Well, I'm still focusing on Misunderstood. Now, you are familiar with Cinderella of the Brothers Grimm's variety, and this actually spans multiple cultures, including the Scots. Now, if I were to tell you the Scots Cinderella story, it'd probably bore you to tears because you'd know what the next step was and the next step was. So I'm going to go with part 2, which is after the main characters marry.
I'm
Now,
so
this is an
excited.
adaptation of a Peter Beresford Ellis telling of a Scots legend.
Take it
And
away.
sadly, I didn't speak Scots Gaelic, so I apologize in advance on the name pronunciations. Gil, Dawn, and Cuthnock were bonny and braw, identical triplets. E'en their father, Laird Catabe, could not distinguish which was which. Gil and Dawn's souls were as dark as the night. They were born minutes afore Cuthnock, and they used this fact. They laird it all o'er her and treat her like a family servant. Cuthnock possessed a pure heart. Because of this, the Fays blessed her with a godmother. Through her godmother's magic, Cuthnock met and married the rich and handsome Prince Lochabar. But that is another story. Cuthnock's father, the Laird Catabe, possessed a humble hunting cabin at Gulspid along the coast north of Dornoch. He sent Cuthnock and Prince Abar there to start their life together before they departed to Lochabar. Gil and Dawn were furious. She is the youngest. She should no be the first to marry. Prince Lochabar should be my husband. They vowed to get in. Gil and Dawn offered to accompany Cuthnock and Prince Lochabar to the cabin to serve the couple. Whilst they did serve somewhat, they mostly watched, waited, and schemed. Cuthnock failed to see their evil intent. Ane called blustery day, Cuthnock walked alone with Dawn along the steep coastal cliffs. Dawn shredded her cloak on a thorn bush. The air was bitter. Dawn shivered. The good-hearted Cruithnock put her ain cloak around Don's shivering body. Cruithnock then returned to the cabin to speer about the evening meal. Don remained along the cliffs plotting. She pulled the hood o'er her head, say that the only her een, nose, lips, and moo were visible. Gil came upon Don, but mistook her for Cruithnock, and without thinking twice, Gil pushed Don o'er the cliff onto the rocks below. Don's screams vanished in the roar of this wind and sea. A strong surge washed Don's deed battered body to a watery grave. Pleased with herself, Gil tripped home, only to discover Cruithnock happily embracing Prince Lochabar. Hours passed. Don failed to return. Cruithnock speared, "Where is our sister?" Gil replied, "We received a message from a father that he was ill and needed ane of us. Don went home to tend to him. If father is ill, then I too should return home." Cruithnock and Prince Lochabar started preparations to return to Captab. "Stop! If you cut your honeymoon short, this will stress father." Don's gain, and that's all that father requested. After meikle persuasion, Cruithnock and Prince Lochabar agreed to remain at Gulspit. The next morning, Cruithnock walked with Gil along the cliffs. Seeing her opportunity, Gil pushed Cruithnock over the edge. However, rather than being slammed onto the rocks, a giant Macmara, that is to say, a whale, leapt out of the water and swallowed her tail. Gil returned to the cabin, happily noting that Prince Lochabar was awa hunting. She changed into her sister's clothes and greeted Prince Lochabar with a kiss as he returned from the hunt. "What is your sister?" Father sent another message. "Gil has returned home to help Don." This was not like Cruithnock. Prince Lochabar insisted upon returning to Catab. "Nay, nay, my sisters can take care of father. This gives us a chance to be truly alone." This tale was out the character of Cruithnock. When night came, Prince Lochabar placed his sword atween them. "If ye are my true love, this sword will grow warm." The sword remained calm all night. In the morning, the prince's shield bearer was approached by an old woman. What just happened to be Cruithnock's fey godmother. Gil pushed Cruithnock into the sea in order to take her place aside Prince Lochabar. Cruithnock is under a spell in the belly of a giant Macmara. Ye and the prince must row out to sea and spear the beast at the red spot just under his breast fin. Prince Lochabar kent immediately that this information was true. The prince and his shield bearer took the prince's spear and explored the coast till they found a skiff. They had barely rowed into the deeper water when the Macmara rose high out of the water, intending to shatter their boast as the beast fell back into the sea. This exposed the red spot, and Prince Lochabar expertly thrust his spear. The Macmara roared in pain, and Cruithnock flew out of the monster's maw, struck into the boat. Words escaped Gil when Prince Lochabar confronted her with Cruithnock. The three returned to Catab. Somehow, they were no surprised to find father in good health and Don nowhere be found. Gil brought down and admitted her crime. I lament the fate of Don, but I am loath to lose yet another doctor. Is Crithnock Nay also your doctor? Gil has twice tried to murder her. Can this go unpunished? And say it passed that Gil was placed in a boat upon the sea. She was given plenty of food, but nae oars or sails. Gil drifted at the mercy of the winds and currents. Some say that her boat was dashed upon the rocks and she drowned in the sea. The truth, North fishermen came upon her and took her for their king. Entranced with her beauty, he married her and lived unhappily all his life. Laird Kataib, Crithnoff, and Prince Lochabar lived lang and happy lives. So ends the story.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. So it has both a happy and an unhappy ending. I like it. Like life. Like life. Well, on that note, thank you so much. You know, you always think you don't hit the theme, but that hits spot on. That's fantastic. Oh, let me add my faithful. Oh, there you are. Oh, hello, Danielle.
Hello.
Look at you just a waving away.
I don't know if it helps you find me or not.
You want the truth? No. I've just got to scroll up there, but it's so darn cute, so keep doing it.
Okay. Yeah. I am over here enjoying tea time while I watch you all. Speaking of you all and tea time, I'm not sure what that has to do with what is going on next. So I'm just going to ask you the question.
Okay.
What's your favorite parody or misheard lyric?
Well, I can't pick a favorite parody. So what I've decided to pick is my favorite misheard lyrics, and I apologize to both my father and my mother-in-law. So in the show Phantasmic, there is a scene where Ursula comes out and she says, let me make sure I quote it exactly. She says, Ursula will take matters into her own tentacles. But I always heard testicles. And the first time I heard it, I was at the park. And I was with my friend Jordan, who is very sarcastic and obnoxious, just like I can be at times, because funny always wins with us. We are both addicted to humor. And so he looks at me and he says, does an octopus have testicles? You should know. You're a biology major. And I said, well, does it really matter? Because Ursula is a sea witch, not an octopus. Oh, true. And really, a sea witch could have testicles. That's true. And my mother turns to us and says, tentacles, darling. Tentacles. And there you have it. Well, I have a special treat for us tonight, and I have a guest performer. So I'm going to bring him in. You've seen him before, you've never seen him sing, and you're not going to see him sing now either. All right. I present to you one of our favorite parody styles of all times.
Imagine in your mind a posh country club. The stuffy old money where the poor get snubbed. The spread is bland, sauerkraut and boiled goose. There's no way these people will ever cut loose. But then I walk in the room, hold my boombox high. And what happened next will blow your mind.
Everything got out of control. The music was so entrancing. Everyone got out on the floor. It was a bunch of old white people dancing.
Now picture, if you will, a bunch of businessmen stuffed in the boardroom like pigs in a pen. The spread is bland, sauerkraut and boiled goose. In the middle of the table, there's a boiled goose. The old people smell makes you want to puke in the sink. These dudes will never dance, yeah, that's what you think. I stride in the room all young and hip, hold up my boombox and say, listen to this.
Everyone started to move. People rejoiced instead of financing. Preconceived notions were shattered by the super old white people dancing.
The Big Apple, where people never dance. Spirits go down while profits expand. The cops or the dealers, who's got the juice? The street vendors peddling the boiled goose. So many types of people will never get along till I bust out my boombox and play this song.
The music washed away all their hate, and society started advancing. Every demographic was represented. It was a rainbow coalition of dancing. Oh, everyone was wearing fingerless gloves. Oh, I saw a Spanish guy doing the Bartman.
Transport now to an old folks' home where the elderly are tossed on the brittle bones. The elderlies are stealing, there's no excuse. Every day for lunch they eat boiled goose. So I grab my boom box and hit the turbo bass. And what happened next was a total disgrace.
Everybody started having sex. The music was way too powerful. A bunch of old people fucking like rabbits. It was disgusting to say the least. Oh, a boombox can change the world, but you gotta know your limits with a boombox. This was a cautionary tale. A boombox is not a toy.
Ryan, that was beautiful, Ryan.
Oh my goodness. Who knew Ryan could rap, eh? White man rap.
I mean, I kind of got him to rap for Monster Mash that one time.
That's true.
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
He did a good job.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing a fabulous oh, you're gonna have to turn on your video there, Eli. So one of our favorite people to work with at Intervision Entertainment, who's become part of our troupe. They read, they write poetry, they write books, novels, short stories. I'm missing something. They do a lot of things. What else do you do, Eli?
Let's see here. What did you list? Books, novels, short stories, songs.
Songs. And you also are quite an actor.
Well, I try. So I guess you have a question for me.
I do have a question for you, and then we're going to do a shameless plug because we do that around here. So what is your favorite parody or misheard lyrics?
I don't know that this counts as misheard lyrics, but my favorite misheard anything of all time was this was back in the no, it wasn't the 1990s, it was the early 2000s. Early 2000s, I was playing the Pokemon card game with a friend of mine, and I don't remember which of us had the Pikachu card, but one of the attacks for Pikachu was Spark. And I was playing it with my friend Giovanni in my mom's classroom after school, and one of us said Pikachu Spark as an attack, and my mom heard Pikachu barf.
I like it. I like it. I mishear everything.
I mishear everything too. So
I think part of it for me is French was my first language, and not a lot of people know that. And while I don't speak it well now, I still think in patterns that are like,
Mm.
foreign language, and I occasionally miss full on like American colloquialisms between that and the English, Middle Eastern, Indian upbringing. It's like if I haven't heard it from a friend, I probably have no idea what it is, you
Yeah.
know? So my favorite in a similar note was Chicka Goin'. I was at Carney's. You'll appreciate this, Carney's chili place, and or it's it's not just chili cheese fries, but that's what I think of it as. And it's like a train car in Sunset. And I went there with a friend. I was introducing them to the yumminess that is that food. And I was gonna order something different. And I looked up and I went, "What's a chicka going?" And my whole group of friends laughed at me. And it was Chicagoan. Chicka
Oops.
going. Chicka. I figured you'd love that because that's right in my wheelhouse, missing words. Well,
Oops.
you have a guest performer as well.
I do. I am
Let's
going to
bring
be
him in.
assisted with by the wonderful Stephen, who is
Hello, wonderful Steve.
awesome.
I've
Hello,
got the
hello.
same question for you.
Um, I mean, not to sound cliche, but I love all the Weird Al parodies. I love Amish Paradise. I love I Lost on Jeopardy. I love Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark. There's just so many good ones. If we're talking
Agreed.
about mishearing words, though, I will never forget the time that I was in 4th grade and I confused the words prostitute with politician, and I asked my parents why Bill Clinton was such a good prostitute.
That tracks. So, I mean, really, what are politicians but better paid prostitutes? What? Okay, so on to that shameless plug. Eli,
Yes.
tell us about your awesome book that's becoming available and you can pre-order now on Amazon.
All right, so this is a book called Hindsight Being 2020. It is a collection of all of the poems and short stories, with the exception of one that I didn't feel like translating into better. So that's 13 short stories that I wrote last year and 39 poems that I wrote last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
the book is going to be segmented into 13 sections, one for every single lunar phase that we experienced last year.
Well, that what's funny is I know you well enough to know that this is going to be very therapeutic. Otherwise, because of my sense of humor, I might actually normally be scared of a book like yours. Luckily, I'm not the norm, and I hope that not. I hear your sales are doing well already. But what's your
Yes.
current? Tell us about your ranking.
My current ranking for brand new poetry, that's the stuff that's either just come out or the stuff that's about to come out, is number 5 in poetry. And in poetry in general, I'm at 43.
That is amazing. So we're going to put a link in here for those of you who are joining
Yes.
us on Zoom because we want to help keep Eli's rank up as soon as possible. Plus, because of this specifically, we're going to release this week's showcase earlier in the week than we normally do. And we'll be putting, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see a link below. Please look for it. It's above all of our normal promotions about our awesomeness because we want Eli to get attention this week. So thank you so much. I'm going to let you take it away. You've got a short story from the book.
I do. This is one that we've never done with Scintillating Stories Live. It is called The Bargain, and it is based in one of the first stories that we ever did with Scintillating Stories Live from me, which is same world as Children of the Sky.
So exciting.
I will go ahead and take it away. Ushina swept her master's study dutifully. Master Hikaru was kind, but she obviously was not very good about dusting. She sneezed, again, and went over to the window to open it, letting out the dust. She leaned over the ancient bookcase to open the window. Or as she leaned over the ancient bookcase to open the window, she knocked down one of the scrolls. It fell to the floor and rolled open. Oh no. She began to roll it closed again, and then paused, seeing the signature at the bottom of the scroll. Zefiev. The mad god had written something? She glanced at the doorway, listening for her master, and then back to the scroll. From the sound of the snores down the hallway, Master Hikaru was taking a nap. Surely she had time. She knelt before the open scroll. The writing was difficult to make out, but she thought she could read it.
I never meant what I have done. It was a joke, a jest between brothers. Or so I thought at the time. But now, Elrius will not forgive me, and I do not deserve his forgiveness. My other brothers and my sisters have sentenced me, and I will carry out that sentence. 500 years I will sit alone in my prison. I will kill any who dare disturb me before my time is up. It will grieve me, but it must be done. That is the bargain I have made. This is the only warning I can give you. Stay away from my prison. It is not worth the price you will pay to seek me out. Even after my sentence is up, I wish to be left alone. Mother Sky, I pray that my people will not suffer too much for what I have done. Zephyr.
Ushina carefully rolled up the scroll when she reached the end, taking care with the old parchment. She would have to ask Master Hikaru about this later. What did the mad god mean about Elrius? No one had seen Elrius in, well, since before the war started, probably. She stood to turn around, scroll in hand, and heard a rattle behind her. She whirled in time to see an arm pulling back from the window, a scroll in hand. Thief! She vaulted out the open window. She landed lightly on the roof under the window and scanned the street below. She leapt off the roof and sprinted after the man running swiftly away from her master's house. Stop! Thief! She was hoping someone would stop the strange man, but the streets were empty. It was just the thief and her. He turned a corner, and she lunged around it, her feet skidding as she tried to turn without slowing down. Sprinting was not her specialty. She was a distance runner, slow and steady and methodical. The thief she was chasing was faster than she was, but not by much. Still, she was gaining ground ahead of her. Wind, aid me! The wind around her picked up. She felt a little stronger for it and quickened her steps. The thief turned another corner and she smiled. He would be trapped. That was a dead-end street. She skidded around the corner and saw he was still running. He was running straight for a building she knew, and she was filled with a sharp stab of terrified horror. Did he not know what that was? Stop, fool! That's Zefiev's cage! You'll be killed! She put in an extra spurt of energy and sprinted with all her might towards him, almost catching him as he opened the door. She skidded to a halt before the building and watched, horrified, as he stepped inside. He fell the moment he crossed the threshold. She saw a red vapor rise from him before he dissolved into dust. The wind behind her pressed her closer to the doorway, scattering the man-shaped pile of dust in the doorway. Hesitantly, she took the last 2 steps towards the building and moved to close the door. She stopped with her hand on the door handle as someone reached out of Zefiev's cage, holding the scroll. She stared at the bone-white hand and reached out with trembling fingers to take the scroll. She started again to close the door, and froze when a voice spoke from within.
Ushina.
The mad god knew her name? How? Yes, Zefiev?
Stay. Do not enter, but tell me, how fare my people?
She stood mute in the doorway. Where would she even begin?
Look at me.
When she only stared at the door handle under her trembling fingers, the hand came out again and lifted her chin. Bright hair, like flame, danced in the mischievous wind. That same mischief danced in kind blue eyes. A young face, not much older than hers, a smile teasing at his lips. Those lips parted, and she heard again the voice of Zefiev, the mad god, speaking to her.
Do not fear me, Ushina, for you have nothing to fear so long as you stay outside the walls of my prison. Tell me truthfully, how do my people fare?
I'm not sure where to start. What do you know?
Assume I know nothing. It had been 527 years, 245 days, and 6 hours since I last spoke to one of my people. It has been 16 years since anyone dared to enter my prison, even. Tell me, how fare my people?
She let out a breath she didn't know she had been holding as he released her. She looked back down at the door handle, trying to gather her thoughts. Assume he knew nothing. How could she possibly sum up over 500 years of history, some of which she didn't even know? Almost audible in her ears was the voice of Master Jian, the eldest master. Start with what you know, daft child. She bowed slightly to Zefiev before speaking. We are still at war with the Elarian. There is a famine this year. The Elarian burned many of our farms, and the masters are wondering how we are to feed ourselves. There are 20 masters, the only elders in the tribe. This is our last settlement. Many of the children are orphans. She stated each fact as though reciting her lessons, staring at her feet. When she finished, there was a silence.
And tell me, what do my people think of me?
You you are called the Mad God. I do not think many people remember you as anything but a place to avoid. The caretakers, sometimes they made me mind them by threatening to bring me here.
I see.
Forgive me for bearing you ill news, God of the Winds.
And you, Ushina? What do you think of me?
The question caught her off guard, and she looked at the Mad God again, startled. He gave her what was probably supposed to be a reassuring smile.
Do not fear me. Tell me the truth.
She straightened. What did she think of Zefiev, the Mad God? She opened her mouth, thinking of the scroll she had found, and then closed it again. She remembered the summer breezes murmuring in her ears, the way the wind always seemed to be embracing her, the way the winter gales would freeze her friends to the bone, but never her, the way just moments ago she had called upon the winds for strength. Hadn't that strength been given? But that scroll. Do not fear me, he had said. Very well. She stood straight, looked him in the eye, and spread her feet apart. She placed her hands on her hips. I think you are a coward.
I beg your pardon.
You are a coward. Everyone knows you started the war, somehow. And okay, so you were imprisoned by the other gods. But you've been able to leave your cage for over 20 years. You could have stopped the war before I was even born. My parents might still be alive. By the skies above, what is wrong with you? Coward! Unthinking, she took a step towards him, crossing the threshold of the building and shoving him. All you care about is yourself. All the old tales say so. You only ever cared about your happiness, about your clever tricks. What about your people? You are a selfish coward, Zefiev, and you have doomed our tribe to ruin and death. That is what I think of you. She glared at him when she was done. He clutched at his chest where she had shoved him and stared at her. Then, to her surprise, he grinned, a reckless smile of wild glee.
Ushina, you're standing in my cage.
She heard the door close behind her. No. She turned and tried the door, but it wouldn't open. No, Zefiev, please, let me out. She jiggled the handle, but it wouldn't turn. She turned again, pressing herself against the door and staring at him as he advanced slowly towards her. He placed a hand on either side of her head.
So, it seems, young Ushina, that you are trapped in here with the mad god. What shall we do? What shall we do?
He tucked a lock of her hair behind her ear, and she flinched. Don't play with me like a cat with a mouse. If you're going to kill me, do it quickly.
Now, where's the fun in that? Especially when there is a bargain to be made.
A bargain? What bargain?
Why, a bargain for your life, of course.
What about a bargain for the life of our tribe? She had the pleasure of seeing Zefiev's smile fade a little. Our tribe is dying, Zefiev. We're going to lose the war. Stop the war, or help us win, and I will make any bargain you ask of me. He pushed away from her and walked away into the bare cell. The wind outside rattled the door as he paced restlessly, and she tried to open it again. It didn't work. At last he stopped and stared at her, his blue eyes glowing unnaturally in the dim cell. She felt a shiver run down her spine.
There is a bargain. You will not like it.
Tell me.
I will stop the war, as I am responsible for its invention. It will take time. But you, Ushina, you must fight beside me in this war, and there is still a toll to pay to keep your life.
He stepped closer to her, fingering her cheek. She ignored the quaking in her stomach and slapped his hand away. I'm not afraid to fight in the war. What of this toll? He smiled and leaned very close to her. She resisted the urge to pull away, telling herself firmly she was not afraid of him.
Oh, something so simple, but so very difficult, Ushina. I wonder if you can pay it.
He leaned in a little closer, the glowing blue light from his eyes spilling onto her face. Spit it out, Zefyev. Stop dancing around it and tell me this toll. She reached out to shove him away. He moved away and caught her hand. He held it, his grip gentle but firm.
A kiss, Ushina. One for each day you live. If you fail to pay this toll, I shall be forced to kill you. I would hate to kill you, Ushina.
He tugged her arm up, forcing her to take a step closer to him. His free arm snaked around her, pulling her flesh against him. She struggled to free herself from his grasp. Why a kiss?
Because the winds like you.
The answer took her by surprise, and she blinked. He leaned in closer to whisper in her ear.
Tell me, Ushina, do we have a bargain?
She bit her tongue, cursing internally. What choice did she have? Her life, the lives of her tribe, they all depended on this bargain. He was right. She didn't like it. Not the price or the toll she would need to pay. We have a bargain. Now let me go and open the door. I must tell the masters.
Uh. A bargain such as this one must be sealed.
And he turned his head and pressed his lips against hers. He moved, and she found herself pressed against the doorway. He pressed her firmly against her as his mouth moved over hers, robbing her of sense. She heard the wind outside the door fall still. Finally, he pulled back from her a pace, and she reached up and slapped him. He chuckled.
Shall we make a wager, you and I?
No. She turned to open the door.
I wager that in a year's time, you will be in love with me.
She froze with her hand on the door. If I am not?
We will dispense with the toll.
She felt him leaning close to whisper in her ear.
And when you are in love with me, you will bear my demigod.
Anything to get out of the toll. She shoved him away with her shoulder as she turned. She spat in her palm and held it out to him. A wager. He spat in his palm and took hers.
A wager I look forward to winning.
She squeezed his hand tighter than was necessary. In your dreams. Now I must tell the masters.
I will join you.
He opened the door for her, and she stepped out into the empty street. Only then did she remember the scroll in her hand. She looked down at it and sighed. Gods, she was going to be in so much trouble. The end. Thank you, Stephen.
That was great, Eli. Speaking of Eli, who is an awesome writer by their book, by their other book, by all of their books, but especially the one that you can pre-order. But also, if you consider yourself a writer and you would like to have that sort of treatment, like what Eli and Stephen just did, done with a story that you have, Intervision Entertainment is currently accepting submissions for our Scintillating Stories series, where we convert short stories, plays, and other writings into podcast format to be performed live, just like what you just saw. We also record and display the readings online for the world to discover. So if you have a story or a script that you would like to hear scintillated, please submit those to Ghislaine at myaloha.tv or even submissions at myaloha.tv. Up next, we have DJ Franchise in the house.
Hello, hello.
So, Francis, what is your favorite parody song or misheard lyric?
So for me, one of the first parody songs that like really struck a chord with me was Weird Al Yankovic, Amish Paradise. Um, yeah, it's I was like, is that even possible? Like to like remix a song like and just change the vibe and like redo kind of like what the artist did and the musical genius of like Weird Al Yankovic and how he's able to just come up with these crazy concepts and like put them together artistically that's entertaining that like kind of crosses a divide. It's what he does, um like spinning the songs and then having the song be have to be able to reach a wider audience using is yeah that's like one of my favorite parodies of all time.
Nice. Well, what do you have for us tonight?
So it's misheard song lyrics. So the first song that I'm gonna do is it's Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. And I don't know if you've ever heard it done before, but a lot of people like to sing Pour Some Shook Up Ramen.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here's Pour Some Shook Up Ramen.
All right, take it away.
Step inside.
Walk this way.
You and me, babe. Love is like a bomb, baby, come on, get it on. Living like a lover with a radar phone. Looking like a tramp, like a video vamp. Demolition woman, can I be a man? Dazzle and a flash a little light. Television lover, baby, go all night. Sometime, anytime, sugar me sweet. A little miss innocent sugar me, yeah. Yeah. Come on, take the bottle, shake it up, break the bubble, break it up, pour some sugar from me, ooh, in the name of love, pour some sugar from me, come on and fire me up. I can't get enough. I'm hot, sticky, sweet, from my head to my feet. Yeah. Listen, red light, yellow light, a green light, go. Crazy little woman in a one-man show. Mirror queen, mannequin, rhythm of a love. Dream, fresh dream, loosen up. Loosen up. You gotta squeeze a little, tease a little more. Easy operator, come knocking on my door. Sometime, anytime, sugar me sweet. A little miss innocent, sugar me, yeah. Oh, yeah. Take the bottle, shake it up. Break the bubble, break it up. Pour some sugar on me, ooh, in the name of love. Pour some sugar on me, ooh, come on and find me, yeah. Pour some sugar on me, ooh, I can't get enough. I'm hot, sticky, sweet, from my head to my feet, yeah. You got the peaches, I got the cream. Sweet taste. From my head down to my feet. Do you take sugar? One lump or two. Take the bottle. Shake it up. Break it up. Ooh, in the name of love. Come on and fire me up. Ooh, I can't get enough. Ooh, in the name of love. Yeah, baby, come and get it. Woo! Hey, hey, sugar me.
Yes. Okay, so I loved that song. I my friend and I used to make fun of Def Leppard quite a bit because even though I know why he had only one arm, the drum beats were excessively simple, and it was, you know, a common trope to make fun of in that music scene, specifically metal music, if you had a simple drum beat. And I secretly loved that song, and my best friend at the time also secretly loved that song, and we kind of found out together when we both rocked out by accident. So I really was feeling that. That was awesome, Francis. You're gonna come back and you're gonna share some journey with us, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. All right, we'll see you in a few. All right, well, I'm about to reintroduce someone we just saw earlier who got us all mental in here. Oh, is he? Where are you? Where are you? There you are.
I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Hello, handsome. I'm just gonna
Hello,
let
beautiful.
you. I'm gonna let
How
you
are,
take it away.
how are you on the other side of the wall?
I'm great.
So for my next little thing, I went ahead and did a bit of a reading on one of our regulars that shows up here. And yes, it might be you watching on YouTube. You never know. And it's just basic little profile, almost like a little reading. Uh, I'm not going to reveal exactly who I did the reading on for privacy purposes, but you'll know who you are. Uh, you're a person who's prone to bouts of real self examination. And this is in sharp contrast to a striking ability you have developed to appear socially very engaged, even the life and soul of the party, but in a way that only convinces others. You are all too aware of this being a facade, and it means you will often be at a gathering and find yourself feeling like you're playing a part. While on the one hand you'll be talkative and funny, you'll be detaching yourself to the point where you'll find yourself watching everything going on around you and feeling utterly unable to engage. You'll play conversations back in your head and wonder if what that person really meant when they said this or that, and conversations that most other people wouldn't give a second thought. How have you learned to deal with this conflict? Through exercising control. You like to show its calm, self assured, fluid kind of stability. But because this is self consciously creative, it will create bouts of frustrated silliness and delight in extremes, or at least a delight in being seen to be extreme. You most easily recognize this control in how you are with other people around you. You've learned to protect yourself by keeping people at bay because in the past you've learned to be disappointed by people, and because there were issues when you were first adjusting to your sexuality, you instinctively keep people at arm's length until you decide they're allowed to step over that magic line into your group of close friends. However, once they do cross that line, the problem is that emotional dependency kicks in, which leaves you feeling very hurt or sometimes even rejected if it appears they've betrayed this status. And because you're prone to self examination, you're aware of these traits. However, you're usually able to examine even that self-examination, which has made you more and more concerned about what the real you is. You're all too aware of the facades, of the sides of yourself that you present to the world, and you wonder if you've lost touch with the real and spontaneous you. You're very creative and have tried different avenues to utilize this ability. You will certainly find yourself having vivid and well formed ideas which others find hard to grasp. You set high standards for yourself, though, and in many ways are a bit of a perfectionist. The problem is that means you often don't get stuff done because you're frustrated by the idea of just mediocrity and are worn out by the idea of starting something fresh. But once your brain is engaged, you find yourself sailing right along and putting endless energy towards something. And very likely, this will have caused you to consider extremely ambitious projects. But a fear you won't be able to quite achieve what you want stops you from getting on with it. You have a real vision for things, which others often fall short of. And you're currently finding the restraints upon your desire to express yourself freely. You have a close relationship that is currently under a little bit of strain. You wish to remain fond of them, but recent issues are starting to cause some frustration. And from your side, not theirs. In fact, they seem utterly unaware of your thoughts on the matter. Partly, this is because there are ways where you've made yourself feel isolated from certain groups in the past, something of an outsider. And now what is happening is you're taking that outsider role and defending it to the point of consciously avoiding being truly part of the group. You have enormous cynicism towards those who prefer to be part of a group or exhibit clicky behavior, and you always feel a pang of disappointment when you see your close friends seeming to follow that route. Deep down, it feels like rejection. However, for all that introspection, you've developed a sensational sense of humor that makes connections quickly and will leave you making jokes that go right over the heads of others. And you delight in this so much that you'll often find yourself rehearsing jokes or amusing voices to yourself in order to spontaneously impress others with them. This is a healthy desire, and although you hate catching yourself at it, it's nothing to be worried about. There's also that odd feeling that you think you should have been born in a different century. Um, you're going to make more sense of that than I can. These are just kind of reads. There's some strong monetary shifts that are taking place at the moment, both in the recent past and what's in store over the next few months represent quite a change. And I know you're naturally a little disorganized. Look around your living space. It will show at least one unorganized drawer, some out of date medications, maybe a few broken items that need to be thrown out, notes to yourself which are out of date, a lot of stuff like that. Something related to this is that you tend to lack motivation. Because you're resourceful and talented enough to be pretty successful when you put your mind to things, this encourages you to procrastinate and put them off. Equally, you've given up on dreams a little easily when your mind wandered elsewhere. You have a real capacity for deciding this thing or this person will be the be all, end all of everything and be with you forever. But you'd rather try and fail and swing from one extreme to the other than settle for the little that you see others are content with. All right, final thoughts. You do present something of a conundrum, which made this read fun to do, which won't surprise you at all. You're certainly very bright, but this unusually open to life's possibilities and something not normally found among high achieving people. I'd say you do well to be a little less self-absorbed, as it tends to distance you a bit, and to relinquish some of that control you exercise when you present the stylized version of yourself to other people. You could let people in a little more. But I'm aware there's a darkness you feel you should hide. Much of this is in a personal area and is related to that neediness that you don't like. You really do have an appealing personality, genuinely. For the person I profiled, thanks for doing this, and thanks for offering a very meaty reading for me to get into.
Ryan, I didn't know you were gonna profile me. Um,
It wasn't you.
yeah, I didn't think so, but that was really good. Um, so next up, Sadie, are you there? Are you
I'm
there?
here.
There you are, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm sorry it was so late tonight. I feel like I missed out on the beginning bits, but I'll be able to watch early in the week apparently, so that's very exciting.
Yes. So, while I have you here, what is your favorite parody song or misheard lyric?
Oof. Well, ooh. I would say favorite misheard lyrics are probably the ones that are so unintelligible that no one understands them, and the misheard version is the understood version. Like Barbara Ann. No one's ever listened to that song and heard Barbara Ann. It's Bobber Ann. Or what's another one? Oh, and then there's the songs where the titles or the words themselves are nonsense that ultimately does sound like words, but is still nonsense, like Inagata Davida and Mersey Dotes is another great example of that. Mersey Dotes and Dozy Dotes and Little Lansy Divey. That's a great one. Yeah, I like nonsense.
Nice. So, what do you
Yeah.
have for us tonight?
Well, I have a little song for y'all, and it's a song that a lot of people mishear the lyrics to, and so I decided to mostly sing it the way it's intended, but also pay a little tribute to some of the ways in which people misunderstand the lyrics. So here we go. There'll be no strings to bind your hands, not if my love can't bind your heart. And there's no need to take a stand, for it was I who chose to start. I see no need to take me home. I'm old enough to face the dawn. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just count my sheep before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away from me. Maybe the sun's light will be dim, but it won't matter anyhow. If morning's echo says we've sinned, it was what I wanted now. And if we're victims of the night, I won't be blinded by the light. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just cross my feet before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away. I won't beg you to stay with me through the tears. Oh, babe. brush my teeth before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just catch my teeth before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just brush my teeth before you leave me, darling. All right, that's enough.
I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to keep you dancing. That was,
Just keep me swaying.
you know. Oh my goodness. I am going to totally learn that now because that gives me such joy. Oh my God.
I love that song anyway. And it was actually in a movie that I saw recently, a new movie that I recommend you all see called The Promising Young Woman. It's crazy and intense and great. And it shows up in that movie in a very unexpected and delightful way. And
my mother loved that song, and my
it's
sister
so good.
I used to sing it with her all the time. And when I say with her, we would sing it, and my mother would get the lyrics wrong and just be like, "Woo!" You know. But
it's the kind of song where everyone mishears some bits of it, and there were other words that I saw for misheard lyrics that I was like, "That's funny," but it's not as funny as all the versions of "Just Touch My Cheek," because people
right.
come up with "Catch My Teeth." What does that mean?
I don't know. I already have a dirty version though, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. Have you ever heard the phrase starving artist? You wonder how we even survive? Probably because we tell jokes like this and at the workplace. Anyway, help make our podcast such as Scintillating Stories, Pet Poetry, and Popular Person Problems happen by supporting our Patreon. Information in the chat below with YouTube or in the Zoom chat below. It is www.patreon.com/Intervision. And now I would like to welcome back the man with the hair he just don't care, Mr. DJ Franchise. Put on your video. I'll just sing by myself.
Hello.
Hello. All right, you got another one for us, and I have to say I'm so happy that you are singing Journey Ship Supply Speedwagon, etc. So, take it away.
Sarah, how much longer until it's socially acceptable to make me a dog toy?
It'd
Because, and I say this respectfully, this is the most boring job I've ever had. Ever. And I used to live in a box before this.
Okay, we're done. Should have been gone, knowing how I made you feel, but I spent and gone. After all, words still miss a bit of dreaming, and I miss a bit of love. I should have been over. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Hold on, let go. You go home, hurt me. cinnamon buns. No, no, you lost it. Oh, sorry. Oh, love. Hold on, hold on. Oh, sorry. Oh, love. Hold on, hold on. Oh, sorry. Oh, love. Hold on, hold on. Hold on, oh, sorry.
So, for anyone watching, if you have no idea what the lyrics were, there's a reason for that. So, Francis, what's the name of the love of your life?
Oh, well, my wife's name is Sherry, but it's spelled differently.
Well, that just brought more humor to my life. All right, thank you as always. You bring more to the table than just gorgeous hair, that voice, that
Stop it.
style. You've got it all.
No, stop it.
And you sing with marbles in your mouth. It's fantastic.
You got to... Never mind.
Hello, Sadie. You might not know why I'm wearing sunglasses, but I'm going to keep wearing these sunglasses.
Is it so you can, so you can?
That too. I actually was wearing these for my performance.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes. But I'm just feeling it.
It was time for the little rhinestone bow.
It was. Do you have a bad dad joke for us?
Oh, well, it happens that I do. So I don't know if I told you this, but I went to heaven the other day and God said, "What's up?" And I was talking to her and I was like, "Hey God, what do you got there?" And she was like, "Oh, it's a wooden stick that lights on fire." And I was like, "Wow, sounds like a match made in heaven."
Oh my God.
Yep.
Hello?
Thought you have an announcement.
Am I?
I love the quickness and how you're right on the beat. It's fantastic. You could be a musician.
Thank you for watching the Scintillating Showcase, brought to you by Intervision Entertainment. To check out everything we do, visit our YouTube channel, My Aloha TV, where you can find even more recordings of the Scintillating Showcase, as well as pet poetry, McGarfield, popular person problems, and scintillating stories. You can also find podcasts of recordings on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. Please like, subscribe, and share the vision. You can also help keep the art alive by becoming a visionary through Patreon. I don't know why I'm laughing. Look for the link in our chat, or if you are watching this on YouTube, check out the link below.
And of course, join us next Sunday for another Scintillating Showcase and Open Mic Night. And before we go, I'd like to announce next week's theme, which is, drum roll please, Somebody to Love. All right, check out our Facebook page and, of course, our website, myaloha.tv, for the latest updates. And now, take it away, Danielle May.
All right. So what could a Mondegreen show be without Bathroom on the Right? So here we go. Little Creedence Clearwater Revival for you. I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see earthquakes and lightning. take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. Hope you got your things together. Hope you are quite prepared to die. Looks like we're in for nasty weather. One eye is taken for a night. Well, don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. No, don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. Thank you.
Any final thoughts? All right, well, what we normally like to say here is wear a mask, socially distance if you think you got any sort of cooties. Don't spread cooties. Wash your hands. What you got there, Danielle?
Your pets.
Yes, spay neuter your pets. What do you got there, Danielle? Anything?
Pets. And don't eat the urinal cake.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. You know, wash your kazoo. Ooh, there's one. Sadie, you got anything?
Don't eat the cake. I don't want to say anything after that. That's so good.
Fair enough. All right. Good night, everybody.